Welcome to Frederick County Public Schools' virtual art show. We hope you enjoy these creations by art students from each of Frederick County's elementary, middle, and high schools. This piece, entitled My Favorite Season, was created by 4th grade artist Madeline Schutz. Madeline studied the significance of warm colors and viewed several fall landscapes before she created this composition. Madeline is a talented young artist from Armel Elementary School. Eighth grader Savannah Cook is an art student at Admiral Byrd Middle School. To create this summer-inspired sculpture, Savannah wrapped one of her own shoes with many layers of masking tape. Her shoe was pulled out and covered following the papier-mâché process. An interest-based theme was planned and painted using mixed acrylic paints. Jameswood High School junior Aubrey Grove created this abstract where she selected an animal as her alter ego and combined that drawing with her own self-portrait. The combination of the animal and self-portrait creates an interesting and thought-provoking work that allows the viewers to see the creativeness of the artist. Aubrey relied on her previous art knowledge and experience in using pencil to create her final drawing. Third grade student Emerson Wright created a seascape drawing demonstrating depth by including foreground, middle ground, and background. Emerson also added coloring by applying blending techniques. Emerson is a student at Apple Pie Ridge Elementary School. In this piece, Natalie Hart chose to recreate a painting of Claude Monet in his Impressionistic style. She used the silhouette against a fiery sky to show the dramatic effect of the sunset. She used a sponging technique to achieve the blurred look of the reflections in the water. Natalie, a 7th grade student at Frederick County Middle School, achieved the impressionistic look while reflecting the work of Claude Monet. Texture is the element and scratchboard is the material for this artwork. Junior Shane Barbara, an Art 3 student at Millbrook High School, created value by continuously scratching the ink off of a silver-coated board. She created value range by controlling the amounts of ink removed using a hatch technique. William Butler has captured the fiery spirit of the sun and gentler nature of the moon in this Mexican folk art-inspired work. William's overall design in this piece was described as a party and was admired by peers for his use of color and celebratory expression of line and pattern. William is a 3rd grade student at Bass Hoover Elementary School. Reese Linton, a sixth grader at Jameswood Middle School, displayed the idea that a self-portrait is not always viewed from the outside. Reese carefully selected images connected to her. She planned out a balanced composition using overlapping techniques to achieve depth and chose colors matching her personality. Olivia Cook, a senior at Sharando High School, created this drawing of a kitchen in her Art 1 class. She utilized one-point perspective to create depth in her work and incorporated elements from her interior design research. Olivia's kitchen represents a contemporary French style combined with country accents, including the farmhouse sink and exposed ceiling beams. Fifth grader Emma Murphy is a student at Evendale Elementary School. She learned about graffiti-style artwork from around the world. Emma chose art as the subject of her graffiti. She created a monoprint using water-based markers and aluminum foil to create the background wall texture. Next, she collaged her graffiti-style drawing onto the background wall. Her smart color and compositional choices draw the viewer into the piece. Lillian Ray created a neurographic drawing using line and shape. She then used colored pencil and watercolor to add color. Lillian is a 7th grade student at Robert E. Ayler Middle School. Art 4 drawing student Isabella Kaufman, a junior from Jameswood High School, created this abstract drawing of 3 skulls as part of a study of the elements and principles of design, along with the study of value and color. Isabella worked with a variety of color exercises to practice her shading technique with colors before completing this complex color pencil and white ink drawing. She also worked to bring each skull to life using a variety of facial expressions and hand placement. Kindergartner Zadie Kaufman from Gainsborough Elementary School learned all about the artist Wayne Thiebaud. Once she had an understanding of his art, she created her own cupcake in this Thiebaud style. First, she created the cupcake by drawing it in crayon. Then she added watercolor overlap to create a resist. Admiral Richard E. Byrd Middle School Art 6 students learned about how to use one-point perspective to create the illusion of dimension on a 2D surface. This example by Reagan Ebach is an excellent demonstration of how one-point perspective can make a letter pop out from the page and feel dimensional. Reagan's careful application of value, as well as her graphic black and white pattern in the background, pull together to create this work. Tatiana Penetores, a senior at Millbrook High School, created this colorful image using small pieces of stained glass. The Art 4 class connected the small pieces of glass with grout, so no soldering was necessary. Quilling is the art of curling, scrolling, and folding thin paper to create intricate forms and designs. Here, Greenwood Mill 4th grader artist Sophia Fedek has used strips of paper to create this paper filigree sculpture. Notice her use of positive and negative space to add unity to her quilled snowflake. Hayden Black showed his knowledge of proportion, overlapping, and composition. He carefully designed the layout while considering all the working parts of the piece. His use of alcohol markers and attention to outlining really makes each character stand out. Hayden is a 6th grade student at Frederick County Middle School. Ariel Ray, a senior at Sharando High School, created this landscape drawing in her Art 2 class. It illustrates her interpretation of the song Wasteland by Neoni in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. The desolate dragon graveyard represents the impact of the disease and the lives that have been lost. Fourth grade virtual students at Indian Hollow Elementary School learned about Picasso and how he created abstract art in his own style. Madison Walker created this abstract work that included a variety of patterns to emphasize the differing perspectives. Julissa Obregon, an 8th grader in Art 1 at Jameswood Middle School, sculpted this intriguing face on a mug. The mug is hand-built using slabs and coils, and the face is created by using the additive sculpting technique. Once fired, she glazed it with multiple colors. Jack Stover captures the essence of the times in his self-portrait entitled 2020. Jack is a 9th grade student at Jameswood High School. Students were asked to portray how they feel about the new school experience that the pandemic has created. Jack creates an emotional connection with the viewer by his expressive eyes and masked face. Second grader Emily Burho learned about shape and pattern for this drawing. She used a combination of colored pencils and metallic markers to create the owl and patterns in her artwork. The addition of patterned paper for the ground and a glowing moon and stars really makes her artwork stand out. Emily is a student at Jordan Springs Elementary School. Caris Barrios designed and traced a holiday ornament onto 36-gauge foil. The class assignment used a ballpoint pen to etch their design into the metal. Caris is a 6th grade student at Robert E. Ayler Middle School. In this piece, Millbrook High School freshman Devin Sampong used an ink pen to create intricate patterns of different values that created the texture of the subject's hair. The inspiration behind the piece was to display the essence of beauty of black hair through the sequence of different patterns, shapes, and line weights. Devin took the assignment of pattern one step further by embedding the technique itself into the meaning of the artwork. Fifth grader Cariana Baker learned all about formal and informal balance. She used black oil pastels to draw half of a truck, and then she folded her artwork and rubbed her hand over the paper. This technique transferred the image to create a symmetrical vehicle. She then added holiday details in and around the truck and finished the artwork by using her watercolor painting skills. Cariana is a student at Middletown Elementary School. This artwork by Art 2 student Zitali Ariano at Admiral Richard E. Byrd Middle School is a non-objective representation of the song Positions by Ariana Grande. Zitali has used the elements of art to represent the structure, rhythm, and feel of the song in this symmetrical composition. Her successful use of counterchange when applying the colored pencils makes the song come alive within the overall composition. Corrine Kirk, a freshman in the Art 2 class at Sharando High School, created this artwork using ink and colored pencil. The artwork titled Sonder was created in response to a prompt asking students to use the element of point creatively within an artwork. Corrine worked carefully to create gradation and dimension using the stippling technique in the face and body of the female figure. She then layered colored pencil to create a sheer texture in the blouse and create contrast in the artwork as a whole. Fifth grader Maria Lizeth Zamora Hernandez explored creating texture in this metal tooling project. She implied a furry texture by making small, repeating lines, resulting in bumps and indentations in the foil. She personified her fox by adding a patterned sweater using colored permanent ink. She unified her piece by using metallic ink in similar patterns on the frame. Maria attends Orchard View Elementary School. Bella Serio, an 8th grade student at Frederick County Middle School, has spent a tremendous amount of time and detail completing a pencil drawing of a giraffe. She focused on proportion, texture, value, and perspective to achieve as much of a realism approach as possible. She applied all of the tools she has learned over the course of her middle school years, along with patience and perseverance to this composition. Olivia Gwinner's soft and subtle water ripples created by a peacock feather make for this watercolor painting. This project called for the students to create a work of art that showed water distortion and movement. Olivia portrays the floating feather and its free-flowing motion. The tiny water droplets that pool around the feather hairs are like distinct water crystals floating on the surface. Olivia is a senior at James Wood High School. Fourth grader Haley Rapine painted this monochromatic nighttime scene by mixing tints and shades of a single color. She used white and black tempera paint to make light and dark values of purple. Haley is a student at Redbud Run Elementary School. James Wood Middle School 8th grader Caitlin Long created this delicious-looking box in Art 2. After carefully rolling and cutting 6 slabs of clay, she attached them by scoring and slipping. Once assembled, she hand-sculpted the ice cream on the lid. Caitlin delicately cut away all the sides in order for the ice cream to stand out. Millbrook High School freshman Alia Desimone used perspective drawing techniques to create this image of the Eastern State Penitentiary. Students were given instruction on simple 1- and 2-point perspective, and then applied that to their more complex final projects. Alia's use of line work makes her piece stand out, creating texture that captures the mood of the environment. To prepare for this piece, 5th grader Jure Castanon Membrano learned about architectural elements in both contemporary and historical examples. She experimented with these elements along with color, line, and pattern to create a variety of structures in permanent ink. After completing her structures, she arranged her composition on a background painted in a cool color scheme. Jure is a student at Stonewall Elementary School. Eighth grade student Kayla Grum created a color wheel in this image. She first drew the image of the person holding the umbrella, then used watercolor paints to create a color wheel. Kayla is an 8th grade student at Robert E. Ayler Middle School. Sarah Sandoval Magana, a sophomore in the Art 3 class at Shenandoah High School, arranged a variety of objects from the classroom into a unique still life arrangement. After practicing different oil pastel techniques on a variety of surfaces, Sarah selected a black piece of mat board for her artwork. She first drew the objects using a photograph she had taken of her arrangement, and then carefully rendered the colors and textures of each of the objects with oil pastel. Frederick County Public Schools celebrates the arts throughout the year with a variety of art shows, concerts, and dramatic performances. Please join us in supporting our students in all their artistic endeavors.